What's up guys, Devon back again with yet another Devon Explains entry, and today I'm gonna go over Ghidorah's impressive set of powers. I won't really be going much into his hacks or his abilities or that kind of stuff. You will get bored from me explaining it the way that I talk. I'll just tell you about his power, about his feats, and how he stomps some enemies and how he high-diffs other enemies and blah blah blah. So, without any further ado and without explaining anything about my break, let's get right into it because today Devon explains why Ghidorah shit stomps pretty much everyone. So first of all, let's just go over his baseline physicals, his base feats and his weakened feats. So weakened feats, pretty simple. He beats the brakes off of G19, slamming him around, slapping him, ignoring his atomic breath, dodging it easily, and burning chunks of skin off him. Remember that Godzilla is the strongest thing in the verse aside from Ghidorah by then, both from a meta perspective and both from an inverse perspective. So extremely impressive because he's not just disorientated or a little bit weakened. No, he's been through multiple fights and he's fought Shimo, who at this point is massively stronger than he is. So he definitely got cooked quite a bit. And he's injured while frozen. So he would have wasted quite a bit of energy regenerating.
We're moving on to a third movement. Go ahead. Of the Moonlight Sonata. Okay, go ahead.
I don't know it.
That's fine.
Now, in base, he went on to fight Supercharged Godzilla, who is somewhere close to 2 times stronger than G19, and was doing pretty bad. He was getting cooked, but he wasn't completely losing. He got a good hit in, which shredded Supercharged Godzilla, someone who was, roughly 4 times more durable than 50% G21, who could tank up to 3 times G19's atomic breath to the face, to the mouth, with no damage. So that is an attack potency that cannot be understated, and an attack potency that is relative to his durability, because the guy tanked 20 seconds of supercharged atomic breath while only looking like he was taking a hard shit.
That was my first time having Jack in the Box. I got a soda, curly fries, sweet chicken sandwich. So let's try to...
And if you want to go a little bit more on the statement side, the statements kind of just support these feats. I mean, the guy stated too powerful for any Titan to withstand. The guy stated to be Godzilla's deadliest enemy. The guy stated to be Godzilla's rival, planet destroyer, that type of stuff. He is even stated to be stronger than anything in GBK, and is stated to be Godzilla's deadliest enemy in the same source that has Shimo in it. And Shimo is stated to be a greater fight, but the point is, he's still to this day gassed up despite other big fucking Titans getting around. What about his amps? Well, first of all, we're gonna have to set up his physicals. He has attack potency that is at least 6 times greater than G19's atomic breath with his bites, or up to a 1-shot greater than G19's atomic breath, and his durability relative to that. You might want to say, oh, but G19 can hurt him. Well, yes, he can. However, why should Ghidorah not get weaker with the amount of energy that he has, just as he gets stronger with the amount of energy that he has? When he absorbs a fuck ton of energy, Mothra's life force, Godzilla's remaining Hollow Earth energy, the nuke's power, all of that into himself, he becomes durable enough to be able to withstand a few hits from burning Godzilla, somebody who is especially powerful due to his symbiosis with Mothra.
So essentially it's Godzilla distilled down to his most powerful essence.
What would happen when he loses that amount of energy? He's obviously going to get weaker. There's also the fact that not all of Ghidorah's body parts are equally as durable. I mean, his wing membranes burned before his arms do, his middle head is evidently more durable than his side heads, etc., etc. So it could also be that his physical body is more durable than his auxiliary heads, while his center head is more durable than his entire body. That's perfectly fine by me. I mean, Godzilla's flesh is massively weaker than his bones, and Kong's furry parts are more durable than his chest or hands. The Monsterverse is not a stranger to titans with differing durabilities across their body parts. And it shouldn't even be these two separately. It is both of them combined. It should be a combination of Ghidorah getting more fragile as he loses energy, and Ghidorah having differing durabilities per body part. So, we've established that he has extremely powerful physicality, and even though I haven't said it, you should understand that he has speed superior to supercharged Godzilla when he gets a good hit, and most of the time he should be relative. Now, the gap between weakened Ghidorah and full power Ghidorah is being stronger than baseline G19 to being extremely relative to supercharged Godzilla. Now, supercharged Godzilla is something along the lines of 2 times stronger than G19, maybe a little bit less than that, probably a little bit less than that. And Ghidorah is relative to that. So, the gap between weakened Ghidorah and full power Ghidorah should be a little bit less than the multiplier for supercharged Godzilla. Then he gets an amp that is significant enough for him to break Godzilla's spines and make him scream out with a bite, something that he didn't even scream that loud when he got bitten earlier. So this, combined with the fact that he metabolized the energy of the grid, which is extremely minimal compared to his own planetary levels of energy, into an attack that could pretty much one-shot supercharged Godzilla, it should be logical for us to assume that he received an amp, at least relative to that of the gap between baseline Godzilla and supercharged Godzilla. What I'm trying to say is, he probably got supercharged. If anything, he got a massive physical boost from a portion of the energy of the grid. Long-winded explanation for, he got way stronger from very little energy. This amp should actually put him just at the level of Pink Godzilla. I will go over the matchups later on. Grid amped Ghidorah, extremely potent. His wing lightning attack can pretty much just incapacitate supercharged Godzilla levels of power, and his physicality is way higher than baseline Ghidorah. If you want to put a multiplier on it or not, I don't really give a shit. Then he absorbs massive amounts of Godzilla's remaining Hollow Earth energy, Mothra's life force, and the country-level nuke, all into himself. Remember that he can metabolize a grid's level of energy into an attack that can pretty much one-shot supercharged Godzilla and amp his dwarf star level self. And he's absorbed massive amounts of energy compared to that. The amp would be historic. The amp would be greater than the Pink Evolution, than this power supercharge, than Shimo's power. It would be greater than anything except the Burning One. Extreme power for an extreme amp. So, now that I've established his scaling in Devon fashion, let's go over the matchup so that you can understand what all of my yapping actually means. So, weakened Ghidorah, losing to all of the guys that I haven't already mentioned, no difficulty. Base Ghidorah would actually give Powerplant Godzilla a pretty rough fight. Now, Powerplant Godzilla is better than Supercharged Godzilla in every way, which would indeed give him the win over Base Ghidorah, seeing as Base Ghidorah was already losing to Supercharged Godzilla, but the actual amp that Powerplant Godzilla has over Supercharged Godzilla isn't that massive. So Ghidorah could still do some stuff and could still drag out the fight. Pink Godzilla destroys Base Ghidorah, even though you can make me believe that Ghidorah could take his atomic breath with heavy damage. Shimo and Ghidorah would actually defeat Powerplant Godzilla because he's having a supercharged level amp, arguably, stacked onto his base, which would already make Powerplant Godzilla struggle. So, despite the skill, despite the pulse, I believe that a Ghidorah who's gotten strong enough to make Supercharged Godzilla scream in pain with a proportionally weaker attack than the one that failed to do that before is probably going to beat Powerplant Godzilla. Amped Ghidorah versus Pink Godzilla is a little bit more of an interesting topic, because there's a parallel between their power. Base Ghidorah is Supercharged Godzilla tier, and then gets a supercharged amp on top of that power, Compare that to Power Plant Godzilla receiving a supercharge with a few extra things on top of his own power. Power Plant Godzilla beats Space Ghidorah, and a proper supercharge is always going to have more merit than maybe a supercharged level amp. And stack onto that the skill, the enhanced proportional durability, the way better atomic breath, and the knowledge of how to fight Ghidorah.
See this nigga right here, bro? He woo, nigga, you woo, right?
And while this Ghidorah is actually way closer to Pink Godzilla's physicals and power, and could take multiple atomic breaths without necessarily dying, I would still have to give it to Pink Godzilla because he still has a notable durability and power advantage while still maintaining physical superiority. He's still physically stronger and physically faster. I would give it to Pink Godzilla, mid-difficulty. And then Shimo still cooks the shit out of Ghidorah. I mean, she cooks the shit out of the same guy that beats him, in my opinion, so too bad.
God damn! Can somebody tell me what time it is?
What the fuck wrong with your wife?
Shit, nigga, the sun is deflecting all this ice. I can't see a motherfucking thing.
Man, get the fuck out
Nah,
of
for
here.
real, nigga, look.
Man.
Look, you got your stutter shades, right?
Yeah.
Then put the motherfuckers on there, nigga. Tell me what time it is.
Nigga, it's 2:30.
Now, the double amp. I'm gonna be honest with you, Power Plant Godzilla gets one shot. I need to keep it a rap with you. The amp, proportionally, it would be demonic. Just demonic. Power Plant Godzilla is getting one shot. Pink Godzilla, if only because of his insane durability, is only getting shredded. And Shimo is also getting shredded. I know that this sounds crazy, but remember that he got an arguably supercharged level amp from a grid. He is dwarf star level. From a grid's level of energy, which is just the basic electricity, he gets so much stronger that you can nearly double his dwarf star levels of energy. And then you give him an entire Titan's dwarf star level being's life force plus Godzilla's Hollow Earth energy plus a country level nuke. He absorbs them for nigh on 2 minutes. That is one-shotting Power Plant Godzilla, probably one-shotting Pink Godzilla and Shimo as well, if not just shredding them.
If they say why? Tell them that it's human.
So, wrapping up the video a little bit, Weakened Ghidorah caps at Supercharged Godzilla, Base Ghidorah caps between Supercharged Godzilla and Power Plant Godzilla, Amped Ghidorah caps at Pink Godzilla, and then Double Amped Ghidorah caps at Burning. Extremely impressive kaiju, do not fucking talk to me. One of the strongest in the verse, and one of Devon's favorite evil space kaiju that Toho has made. Without any further ado, I will have to tell you to swallow your wank, accept Ghidorah shreds, Beast Glove Kong, and g'day.